Hello everyone, today we're going to look at a very common reading question type, true, false, or not given. Now, first of all, actually we need to decide whether the statement is not given or not. If it's really not given, then you know that there's no mention of the information, no mention at all, and if any part of the sentence is not mentioned, then we could say that it's not given. For true or false options, actually, you need to also look for synonyms and antonyms. And sometimes you need to be careful that there might be rephrasing. That means the word orders may be changed, but it still has the same meaning. Be careful. The second thing to pay attention to is the tense. You mainly need to decide whether it's still true now, that means present, or whether it's only true in the past. So basically you need to pay attention to the present or past tenses. Let's look at some examples. Many of you asked about question 6 in your CEP Set 1. Let's look at number 1. Here it says Lee Ho-yin supports preserving Hong Kong's old buildings. So from paragraph 3, you know that Lee Ho-yin is a director of the Architectural Conservation Program at the University of Hong Kong. And if it says he supports that, that means he gives assistance to. Then of course this is true because he's the director. That means he's having a job of preserving Hong Kong's old building. And because preserving is also has a similar meaning with conservation. Because both of them means to keep something in a good condition. So these two are actually synonyms. And we also know that he's not protecting anything else. He's protecting the Hong Kong's old building by the word architectural. So he's not trying to protecting animals, he's not trying to protect anything else, he's protecting the old buildings. So you see, you need to look for the synonyms and you know that this question is true. This statement is true. And question 6, number 2, there used to be 3 revolving restaurants in Hong Kong. We've learned that used to meaning something that's true in the past but not anymore now. Okay, so see if we can really find 3 revolving restaurants in the past but not anymore now from this paragraph. So you can see that Hopewell Center was the first circular office tower in the past. It was the first one, and no other building had both an observation lift and a revolving restaurant. So you know that in the past it really had a revolving restaurant. And these days, that means now, Hopewell Center's revolving restaurants is the only one left. So now there's only one left. Actually, it's trying to imply that in the past there were more than one. And so how many? It continues to give you some hints. After Wu Sang House restaurant was closed in 1996, and after the Furama Hotel was demolished in 2001. So how many revolving restaurants were there in the past? Actually, there are really 3. Can you see? Because in the past, Hopewell Center had 1. Okay, so Hopewell Center, that's number 1. And number 2 was Wu Sang House. And number 3 was Furama Hotel. But it's just after the Wu Sang House restaurants was closed, and after the Furama Hotel was demolished, then Hopewell Center's revolving restaurant is the only one left in the city, in Hong Kong. Okay, so there were really 3 revolving restaurants in Hong Kong, but it's not true anymore now because there's only 1 left. So for this statement, it's true. Okay, and let's look at question 6, number 5 as well. Hopewell Center's rooftop pool is hidden from the view of hikers on the hill. So is there really a rooftop pool? Yes, from the last line, you know there's really a swimming pool and it's on the roof of Hopewell Center. And so it says if you continue hiking upwards, so if you're a hiker and you hike upwards towards the peak, that means the hill, you notice that the roof has a swimming pool. Okay, so you notice that means you can really see with your own eyes. So it's not hidden. So the sentence is false. So every part of this of the sentence is mentioned, but if we can find the antonyms, words with opposite meaning, like hidden and notice, they cannot be true at the same time, then we need to say that this statement is false. And how about question 31 in part B1? Let's look at this statement. The company uses packaging that's not harmful to the environment. And from the paragraph, we know that the company now has made the switch. That means has changed to environmentally friendly packaging. So now they're using environmentally friendly packaging. So that means, well, can you see words, phrases with similar meaning? Not harmful to the environment. So basically, this is true because every part of the sentence is mentioned. The packaging, it's not harmful because it's environmentally friendly. But one of you tries to argue that, no, here it only says it's environmentally friendly. We don't know whether it's harmful to the environment or not. Okay, now some warning here. If you're not really good at like debating skills, if you don't want to think too much, then skip this part of the video. Okay, so yes, I think you've raised a very interesting question. For the word environmentally friendly, actually it's really a relative concept. Well, what I mean by relative is, well, you need to look at absolute. Now, for like colors, they are absolute concept. Because, for example, if you see red, you cannot say, whoa. Well, you see red and everyone else has to say it's red. You cannot argue that. If you see yellow, you can only say that it's yellow. You cannot argue about that. These are what we call an absolute concept. But for environmentally friendly, it's really a relative concept because, well, you could say like paper packaging is environmentally friendly because it's biodegradable, but some can also argue that no, it's not environmentally friendly because we still need to cut the trees and everything else. So this is arguable. Yes. But if, well, okay, now we are not having a philosophy class. We are trying to face the DSE English language exam. So, well, if the passage tells you that it's environmentally friendly, then take its literal meaning. Don't think too much. If it says it's environmentally friendly, trust its definition. Its definition it's good to the environment. If it's good to the environment, of course it's not harmful. Okay? So don't think too much. We're only having an English lesson. Okay, not a philosophy class. I hope I have answered your question. Okay, and let's also look at number 3 from question 31. Ready-made dipping sauces have long been the company's best sellers. So is it true or false or not given? We can see from the paragraph that the company has created new products such as ready-made dipping sauces. So we know that the ready-made dipping sauces, they are new. And they are also popular with young people. If they are new, that means it's not true that they have long been the company's best sellers. But of course, we also need to decide whether best sellers is mentioned in the passage. Because in the passage it says it's popular with young people. If something's popular with people, that means it's having a good sales. So it's really the best sellers. And so because new and long is a pair of opposite concepts. So for this one, it's false. Okay, and for number 4, the regular flavor remains the company's most popular bean curd flavor, and it remains. Remains, that means it's true from past to now. So is it so popular from the past up to now? Let's look at the passage. It says we used to. So again, used to, that means in the past. We only have 2 flavors of the fermented bean curd, the regular one and the spicy one. But now we have a dozen, like different levels of spiciness, so different types of chili. Okay, but we only need to focus on whether the regular flavor is still very popular from the past to now. So we know that we used to have 2 flavors, regular, and now we have more. So we know, well, it seems to imply that the regular flavor, we still have the regular flavor now, but is it the most popular bean curd flavor? It's not mentioned. Okay, it doesn't tell you anything about the popularity, so it's not given. And number 5, the company offered online sales when it was run by Peter's father. Offered online sales when it was run by Peter's father. So past tense, can you see? Let's look at the the whole paragraph is trying to tell you what Peter has done to attract a new generation of customers. And from the last line, you know the company has a brand new website, and it offers online sales. Can you see that? It's present tense. And so, I'm sorry, for offered online sales by Peter's father, it's false. We know that it's Peter who's running the brand new website. Okay, I hope I have answered your question. And let's look at some DSE past paper examples as well. Well, I chose questions with lower percentages because I want to focus on more challenging questions. So let's look at 2013 part B1. Okay, so from question 42, number 1, people with low self-esteem feel that Facebook is a safe place to share information about themselves. Let's look at paragraph 7 because from the question we need to look at paragraph 7 to 9. Paragraph 7, people with low self-esteem, okay, low self-esteem may feel that Facebook is a risk-free, that means safe, okay, same meaning, for making personal disclosures, personal, that means something about themselves, disclosure, that means you are sharing the information publicly. If you disclose something, that means you tell others something about yourselves. Okay, so this is obviously true. So you need to pay attention to the synonyms. Now let's look at number 3 and I'll give you some time to think about it. It says participants of the study checked their emails even though they said they would rather sleep. Okay, so you need to think about whether they really checked their emails even though they said they would rather sleep. They would rather sleep, that means they really wanted to sleep. Is it true or false or not given? Let's look at paragraph 9. Is Facebook about popularity or desperation? It may often edge towards the latter. That means usually it's about the latter one, desperation, with evidence that Facebook is as addictive as cigarettes and alcohol. We know that Facebook is very, very addictive. You can easily get addicted to Facebook. A study of activities and desires of 200 adults by the University of Chicago shows that although the strongest desires were for sleep, checking work emails and updating a Facebook status are this generation's actual nocturnal activities. Okay, so is it true or false or not given? Okay, let's see. So do they check their emails? Yes, they check the work emails. And even though they said they would rather sleep, did they say that? Yes, it says although is another word for even though. The strongest desires were for sleep. They really, really wanted to sleep, but they still check work emails. Okay, so although they wanted to sleep, they still checked emails. Okay, so the answer is true again. Let's look at one more example from 2014 part A. I only chose questions with like around 40 something percent correct. Okay, so at first glance, the robot does not appear to be very impressive. Does not appear to be very impressive. Oops, I forgot to attach the passage here. Let me just open it for you. 2014, where is it? 2014 reading passage, right. Okay, so let me give you some hint from this paragraph. Okay, can you find anything about not very impressive? And at first glance? Okay, so this is a story about a robot going to this Winston's home, and when it first arrived, it described the robot as the robot was 1 meter tall and gray and squat and plain looking. Okay, so when it first arrived, it's plain looking. So plain meaning it's not attractive at all. So that means this is true because it does not look good. It's plain looking. Okay, so again, it's testing your synonyms. Can you see? So the conclusion is, let's look at the conclusion. The conclusion is you need to always pay attention to vocab. You need to increase your vocab, otherwise you don't know whether they are synonyms or antonyms. Okay, and the second thing is please always pay attention to the tenses as well. If you cannot find any synonyms, antonyms, or you cannot see any rephrasing, then any part of it, really, any part of it, it's not mentioned, then you can say it's not given. Okay, so decide whether it's true or false, not true or false first. Then if really there's no mention of the information, then you need to choose not given. I hope I have answered your question.